What's happening? You're one of my crazy kids.
One of many.
Yeah, one of the adopted ones. So we're he's been trying to tell me about this nonsense. The how can I put this? The ripoff called Bitcoin. That's what I'm gonna call it. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it whatever he wants, but I'm gonna call it exactly what it is. It's a ripoff. 100%. And as we go through, he's gonna talk his little point, and I'm gonna talk my point.
You're really setting me up to fail by that intro,
but guaranteed it's a ripoff. Everybody, and as you can see, as the market is right now, y'all can see that it is a ripoff. Because look how much people just went bankrupt, belly up already.
On Bitcoin?
On cryptocurrency, period.
All right, so this is going to be a larger conversation than Bitcoin. We're talking about cryptocurrency.
Bitcoin
there
is a cryptocurrency.
Difference. I know, but not every cryptocurrency is equal.
No, because so we're talking. The whole thing is we're talking cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. I don't care which one it is, but they all scams. Full stop. Unless they're backed by something, they're a scam. And I'm not talking a person, a company, a theme. I'm talking they have to be backed by a physical thing, aka like
the gold standard, man.
Right. So
you gotta edit that out.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it out. Don't worry. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So the gold standards, if it's backed by something, it needs to be backed by something. All right.
I disagree.
Yeah, that's what his point is. He wants to talk about it don't need to back by something. But I honestly believe if it's not backed by something, if it's not backed by anything, exactly what happened the past couple of days with this rug pulling is going to happen to every single cryptocurrency in existence.
Okay, so I guess that's a good place to start the conversation. I don't think it shouldn't be backed by something. I just don't think it has to be something like gold. Like, for instance, Bitcoin is backed by the blockchain and the mining of Bitcoin. Like it's a community economy type thing. It's backed by the people using it as a currency, and it's backed by the people mining for it. It's the way that Bitcoin is set up is it's kind of stuck in time, and the time that it takes to mine a coin, the equations, what it takes to mine a coin is stuck in time, meaning inflation of the coin or the amount we have in rotation is limited, and there's a cap, I think, at like 2 million coins or something like that. But up to that 2 million coin, and even when we get to that cap, it's backed by the energy and effort to mine said coin. That's what makes it valuable, aside from the fact that we give it value by being able to exchange it for goods, just like any money. So his argument is that it has no value unless it's backed by something of value like gold, and I just don't think that's true. I think you can have a cryptocurrency, you can have a completely digital currency that is backed by the time it takes to mine it and is backed by the economy that is using it, and it creates a bit of a world economy. I can exchange it for goods in anywhere and anyone who accepts Bitcoin. And I know that's limited, as he likes to point out a lot, but it's limited for now, and it's becoming way more widely accepted. There are countries that do take Bitcoin. You can go and book a vacation in Bitcoin. There are landlords that take Bitcoin for rent here in America. It's becoming more and more popular, and I believe that it is the future of currency, a cryptocurrency, because it's especially Bitcoin, because it's decentralized from a government. It can't be artificially inflated, and it can't be controlled by anyone but the people. And even then, it's a currency. It's a currency like any other.
And that's where I'm gonna tell you you're wrong, because anything can be inflated. I don't care what it is. Anything.
Okay.
You can inflate the value of water, and they have inflated the value of water. You can inflate the value of dirt. They have inflated the value of dirt. Nobody has anything on dirt, but yet still people charge you for dirt. But dirt is free.
Well, that's a different conversation. But
But it's the same thing. Look at it. Look at it.
okay. A better way to put it is it is nowhere near as easy to inflate when it is decentralized. Our government can inflate the U.S. dollar to benefit a specific group of people who aren't an everyman, who aren't the everyman. And it is often how it happens. It's to escape their own debt. And our dollar is backed on the U.S. economy, not even gold.
So, I'm going to stop you right there. And I'm going to show you exactly your point and how you're wrong.
Okay.
So, let me show y'all wonderful people.
Put it in the video.
That is inflation right there.
Let me see.
They can't inflate the Bitcoin? Yes, they can sure inflate the Bitcoin.
Okay, I've accounted for that. So, the Bitcoin isn't what's inflating, it's the US dollar.
No.
So the Bitcoin is not only becoming more valuable, but the US dollar is also becoming less valuable. It works both ways. It works both ways. And I'm not saying that that's not a bubble that may pop. It may. But it's not going to make cryptocurrency useless. And it's clearly more valuable than the US dollar currently.
How can something be more valuable than the US dollar if the thing itself is also inflated?
It inflates slower. That's how. It's like anything. Any investment you have, any investment you make, it's even long-term investments like buying houses, you have to account for inflation of the economy.
There's no...
If it inflates slower, or rather, it appreciates quicker. If it inflates faster, and if I bought Bitcoin 10 years ago at the price it was, and it inflated super high.
But that's what it did.
That's perfect, because now it's worth more. So inflation isn't the same thing as appreciation. And I think you're getting those two things a little mixed up, muddy. I'm saying the appreciation of Bitcoin is a combination of the inflation of the US dollar and the appreciation of Bitcoin and the wide adaptation, the adoption of it.
But you are talking about the thing getting appreciated more. But if there's a limited supply of it, right?
Yeah. That's why it's gonna that's why it's not gonna inflate as much.
Hold on. If there's a limited supply of it, more people are using it, right? That means its value shouldn't go up any higher than it is. It should still work out to be what it is no matter where you use it.
Not at the point that it is now, because the technology it's growing.
We're talking about Bitcoin. You say, you want to talk about Bitcoin? Let's talk about Bitcoin.
I'm talking about Bitcoin.
So
Bitcoin isn't at its cap yet. So there isn't a limited... They're still making more Bitcoin as we speak.
And that's the point. If you're still making Bitcoin, which means if you're still making more of something...
Yeah.
This is manufacturing 101.
Okay.
The more of something you make, the value should come down.
Yeah, agreed.
So which means the more Bitcoin that's mined, the value should either level off.
Yeah. There's more out there, so it'll each of them will cost less.
Precisely, but that's not what's happening. The values are shooting through the roof.
Yeah, but there's reasons for that. There's reasons other than...
But that's my point. That is literally the point I just showed you with that graph.
Yeah, but one of the reasons is...
The values are shooting through the roof, which means they're inflating these Bitcoins. So they're not appreciating, they're inflating. Which means now the Bitcoin that should have stayed relatively level at a level, because why? We're still mining more of them. Mm-hmm. There's still a limited amount of them.
Yeah.
So the value should literally stay the same right across the board. No outside factor. If it's not, pay attention. You said all of this, not me. Mm-hmm. It's not managed by any government.
Yeah.
It's not managed by any outside source.
Yeah.
It's not. In fact, it's not.
It's managed by the community.
Exactly. It's managed by the community.
Yeah.
And if this thing now has a value higher than it initially started at, so high in fact that the normal person can't go buy one or get one.
You can.
It's overly inflated.
Yeah. Okay. So the cool thing about the technology, just because one whole coin costs, what was it, 100,000, 102,000?
Yeah.
You don't have to buy them in one coin.
And that's where the problem comes completely off hinge. And that's why I keep telling you it's at this point, a scam. Because if, again, comes right back to manufacturing 101.
Okay.
If you build one cell phone and you build 2 cell phones, 3 cell phones, 100,000 cell phones,
Mhm.
shouldn't the value stay relatively same right across the board?
Well, no. The more you make, the cheaper they're probably gonna get.
Okay, so which means if you build 20 million bitcoins
Yeah.
and they're going to be 20 million bitcoins, the value should what? Stay the same.
Or decrease.
Precisely, but that's not what's happening.
Well, again, those are factors outside of the technology of Bitcoin.
You're still trying to make excuses.
No, I'm not making excuses. I'm saying there's a reason why. It's because
There
we're...
isn't, but I'm coming back to your point. These are not my points. You said it.
Yeah, but you're taking a
It
point...
should not be influenced by anything else but the coin itself.
No, that's not how money works. That's not how money works at all. Money is influenced by other things, right?
And hence my point. I keep saying it. And every time I try to make the point to you, you try to jump into another hoop.
I think we're crossing wires in a way where you're taking a point on one axis and you're using it on another that I don't think applies. You're saying that because there's more Bitcoin, or rather that we're continuing to manufacture Bitcoin and that it started at a certain price. That
And it's supposed to cap out
that it's inflated, right?
No, you're still. I don't know if you're still getting what I'm trying to say. If you start at 1, you max is 20,000, whatever that max number is.
Okay.
When you hit that max number, shouldn't
Of Bitcoin, you're saying?
Yes.
Or of value?
Of Bitcoins.
Of Bitcoin.
The actual thing. That's why I said cell phones.
Yeah, 2 million.
You know, I got off the Bitcoin. I said cell phones.
Yeah. Okay. Same thing. We hit a limit.
You hit a limit, so the value should be the same.
No, that's just not how it works.
But that's exactly what you're talking. You're talking about a commodity. No matter what you talk about, it's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Money is a thing, like a phone is a thing, like a cookie.
Okay, that's a good point, right? But
they're all things.
I can't go to the store and buy things in phones.
Of course you can.
I can't.
You can't trade a phone in for something else.
What can you trade a phone for? And what would be the most useful thing to do?
It doesn't matter what you can trade a phone in for. It's the same thing with Bitcoin. Can you trade a phone in for something else?
Yeah.
That's what Bitcoin. That's all a Bitcoin is. You can trade your Bitcoin for something else. That's what it is. That's all it is.
So
that's all.
We're talking technology of money.
That's what all it is. That's all you're still trying to.
But
take this
cryptocurrency
thing,
is a technology of money.
and that's all any of this stuff is.
And I'm saying that this money is more valuable than our money right now, and I think it'll continue to be. That's what I'm saying.
And I'm trying to let you know that no matter which one you choose, they're all fucking crap.
Okay, that's a whole different stance.
But we're on Bitcoin.
But we're on Bitcoin.
And I'm trying to tell you that.
And I'm saying that Bitcoin as a money is going to be more valuable than the dollar in the end.
But bring me right back to my point again, and I keep saying it, and
you're saying it's inflated and it's not going to happen.
It's inflated, and you're still not seeing the point that it's inflated. Because again, come right back to the phone again. Oh, my goodness. You have to, if you can't see the simple fact that, again.
Okay, aside from the fact that it's inflated, then when you're saying it's inflated, what is your point to me? Because even if it's inflated, it's still worth more than the dollar?
No. If something is inflated, even like the United States dollar, the United States dollar get inflated. Kind of like the problem is we're having now.
Devalue.
Is either get devalue or increase in value. It either go up or down,
it's
right?
It's only going down.
Right.
It's only ever gone down.
Same thing with the British pound, the United States. This is why they have the gold standards.
Yeah, but we're off the gold standard.
Which means the United States is off the gold standards. The British going back to the gold standard. China's on the gold standard. Russia's back on the gold standard. There's a bunch of countries.
I also don't know enough to know how you would get back on the gold standard.
Because
do you mine more gold?
No. There's gold already here. There's a bunch of gold above ground.
What do you? I wonder what you do to get back on the gold standard. That's a side point. That's a side
point. No. It actually is very relevant to what we're talking about. So, to get back on the gold standards is quite simple.
Yeah.
You have a bunch of gold reserves. So every dollar you print,
has to match up with the value of gold.
Has to match up with the value of gold.
Yeah, but if you're already over that and you don't have enough gold,
you can't print any more money than the amount of gold you own.
You know what I'm saying? If you're already over that, you have to acquire more gold somehow,
You have
right?
to acquire
Yeah.
more gold. You can't go. You can't.
I'm saying I
be-
wonder how they're planning to acquire enough gold to like justify their currency. You know what I'm saying?
You have to either buy it from another country or source it.
Yeah, but are you buying it with your inflated money? Like I don't know how that would work. I don't know how you would adjust
you
it.
either buy another country's debt
Okay.
and then you get their gold, or you do work for another country and you trade it in gold instead. To accumulate gold.
I can
You
see
get-
that being a thing.
So instead of get paid in cash money, you get paid in gold currency.
Gold was one of the first monies. It
Precisely.
was one of the first.
And that's how now you can print more of your money.
Yeah, but why is gold more valuable to you than like a cryptocurrency?
Gold has more value to the human race than you think. And here why.
I believe that.
And this is why gold became actually so valuable again. All right, so back in the olden days, they used jewelry and they usually use it in all kind of other stuff. All right, and gold is kind of one of those miracle metals. You can use it practically anywhere.
It's a very useful metal.
Very useful metal. It's more useful than aluminum. It's more useful than copper. It's more useful than
But it's, I don't know about any of that, but I know that it's useful.
And the reason why they don't use diamonds because they're a diamond dozen. You can find diamonds anywhere. You can even make
them
diamonds.
now. Yeah.
So
You can create them now, yeah.
Yeah, you can create diamonds. But gold is the one thing they still can't make.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if they can make gold. It wouldn't make
Precisely.
sense. Why would you mine for it if you can make it?
They can't really make gold. So and gold is not something you can just find anywhere.
It's a rare metal, yeah.
Exactly.
That's what made it a good money, is what you're
Right.
saying, yeah.
And that's what they're doing. They're going back to that standard because it's so rare.
You're saying the scarcity of gold is what makes it good money?
Yes,
And you're saying that cryptocurrency isn't as scarce.
not as scarce because everybody can make one. Anybody.
Yeah, but there's
can,
a limit.
No, there's no, and that's my other problem. There is no limit to cryptocurrency. As long as there's a computer
Okay, sorry.
and a person,
There's a limit to Bitcoin.
There's a limit to Bitcoin, but
Yeah.
there's no limit to cryptocurrency.
So when I say Bitcoin is going to be a valuable money, I believe it's partly because it's limited
Yes, but limited for how long?
until we hit the 2 million.
And I'm gonna show you again what I mean by limited for so long because you made another point we're going to get to eventually, but you still have to realize what I mean by the inflation. So the inflation part comes back with this gold
You're
standard
saying when we
stuff.
hit that 2 million, it's going to
No, I'm
plummet?
gonna show you. We're gonna get there, but you have to open your head, your brains, and also try to understand my point because I understand your point perfectly. Because I spit back your answers verbatim. And the answers.
I don't think you know enough about Bitcoin.
I don't need to know about Bitcoin. All I need to know about is computers.
It's not even close.
Whether you want to believe it or not, I know computers in and out.
I know you know computers.
And that's why I know Bitcoin.
That's not even close to the same thing.
I certainly
Computers are used to
no.
keep track of Bitcoin.
And computers are also used to make Bitcoins.
Yeah.
Which
sure.
means I know computers. I know Bitcoin.
It's an equation. Computers run the numbers to find the answers to the equation.
And
that
they're
then
all
creates-
and they're all what? I told you this 100 times.
They're all computers.
Yeah, about computers. They're all what?
Ones and zeros.
Okay then. Now let's move on to the next part.
Yeah, but that's okay. But that's you can't say there isn't a more nuanced thing. Like there
There's
is.
none. There's none. I don't care what anybody says. Until they make a quantum computer.
But that's rejecting.
Until they make quantum computing.
But that's rejecting the technology that I'm talking about. Bitcoin is scarce, like gold.
No, that's accepting your information,
Mm-hmm.
verifying information, but telling you that there's more to it than you don't even understand yourself.
Yeah, but you're not explaining it.
I
You're
am
just saying
trying
it's
to explain.
systems.
I'm trying to explain it to you, but
This
you're
is a
still not
continuation
listening.
of a conversation before. So this is you're getting half of the conversation. Okay, go ahead.
So the gold standard part of it,
Yeah.
and this is you remember that guy you told me to listen to, and I told you he was a fucking idiot.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a freaking jackass. Now, listen.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm not smart. I'm not the smartest person in the room. I know I'm not. I'm not better than him, but I think he missed a whole bunch of shit.
Okay.
You
He could have.
should-
Yeah, he could have.
Okay.
Totally.
Now, I want to say something else before I get back to the gold standard thing. Remember when he talked about the gold standard
Yeah.
and about how he helped the country use Bitcoin to improve the country?
Yeah.
He could have did that with the country's actual money and finances. He didn't need Bitcoin to do that.
So their money, they were in ruin. So
It doesn't.
they just got they just got done with the Civil War,
Yes.
and they didn't have a currency anymore. Their
It
currency
doesn't
was
matter.
gone.
And that's what I'm telling
They
you.
used the U.S. dollar.
He could have used the country's own money to rebuild the country.
They were using U.S. did that thing where they buy the debt from a country. They had no money. None.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. He could have used the country.
Meaning create a whole new currency,
No, use the current currency.
which would be the U.S. dollar.
No, the country's own currency. Because every country, no matter how bad a currency is, Jamaica.
No, it was literally gone. It was literally gone. It was.
It may have been busted, may have been worth crap shit in the tube. It may have been pennies on the dollar.
It was gone. It was literally gone. There was a war. It was wiped off the face of the earth. They had no currency.
They still had a currency. They could have printed more. I don't care what they had
Okay.
to do. They could have did
Inflation.
something. They could have even if they had to inflate it.
Okay.
They could have rebuilt that country with their own currency. They didn't need Bitcoin. They didn't need the United States to do it.
There's no way. If it was that simple, they would have done that.
Every country in the world owns debt right now. Everyone. Every last one. I don't care which country. There's not one country that's in the black.
Yeah, I have no clue. I assume that's probably right.
They all own debt. Which person do you know that don't have debt?
Oh no, rich people all have massive amounts of debt. But that's how they make their money. Differences in debt.
To spend money, you have to make to make money. You have to spend it.
Definitely.
But for a country, it's a lot different.
So what's your beef with him not using their own currency and him using crypto instead?
Because now you're depending on someone else again. It's just a different person. So in other words, this country went from one middleman to another middleman.
Yeah. So their main currency isn't Bitcoin.
It doesn't matter. I don't care what you want to how anybody wants to justify this. The fact is they went from one middleman to another middleman.
So
they may be a better middleman, but still a middleman.
So do you consider a country having its own currency cutting the middleman?
Yes. Think about this.
Do you consider currency the middleman?
Huh?
Do you consider currency the middleman? Like, do you consider?
I think answer to someone else is considered the middleman.
So if you use someone else's currency,
you're answering to someone else.
Okay.
You're literally at the mercy at someone else.
Yeah. But why?
And
why is
even
Bitcoin answering to someone else if it's a decentralized currency?
It may be decentralized,
Yeah.
but you're still dependent on someone else's favors
Okay, but that's
and
all.
acceptance.
But that's all money, right?
Not really. If you can build, think about this. If you have a company, right? You build your company from scratch. You go get your loan.
Yeah.
You build your product. You got your product up. You put it on the shelf. People start buying it. You pay off your debt. Who are you answering to?
Until you pay off your debt.
Nobody
the
but
debtors.
you.
Yeah. Well, once you pay off your debt.
That's what I said. Once you pay off your debt, who are you answering to?
Yeah, no one.
Nobody.
No one.
And
Well,
that's
your customers. Answering to your customers.
And guess who they would have been answering to? The people of the country. And isn't that a better set of people to answer to than to answer to someone else? Instead of being at will or at hostage, it's also some stranger that you have no connection to.
If it was that simple, I just don't think it was.
It was that simple.
There's no way it could have been.
I'm telling you, it's that simple.
So if it was
if
it was that simple, what do you think the reasoning for introducing?
People take simple things and make them extremely complicated.
Yeah, I can see that.
People do that all the time.
That's a very common issue with humans in general.
Simple things complicate the crap out of them.
Yeah, but if you have a country that's in ruin and has nothing to offer, give, produce, they've just been torn apart by war. You have nothing. Like your currency is backed by nothing.
That's the best. When I say, oh my goodness, talk about ground zero.
Yeah, ground zero is what it is.
Talk about ground zero, dude.
Yeah, but what do you have to offer? Your currency has to be backed by something.
In a time, think about this. This was what, 10 years ago? 15 years ago, something like that?
What, when this happened?
Yeah.
Probably about 10 years ago.
Yeah. 10 years ago was literally the boom, the starting point or right at the like the middle of the .com boom, the computer era boom, the
Longer now. That's like 20 years.
the beginning. I said the middle.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
said
Okay.
the middle, the middle of the .com, the middle of the starting
The internet
of
gold rush.
exactly the middle of the starting the solar panels, the new energy consumptions.
What does that have to do with their currency?
Ground zero, dude. Think about this. Ground zero.
I don't understand what you mean by
You
that.
build from the ground up.
Yeah, but they have.
You starting everything from scratch.
Yeah,
You sum up
their country was torn apart.
Precisely. That's the perfect time to start.
But you have nothing to start with. You still need to have materials or money to buy materials.
But that's the thing. But you see, you still fit. You're closing off you're doing this.
Okay, but they're a small country. You can't source everything from there.
You can. That's the
you
beauty.
Can't.
Yes, you can.
There's not a country out there you can source everything from there. Every country outsources to somewhere.
Which part of getting debt you didn't get?
Saying buying debt?
Yes, you got to get the debt. You got to put the country in debt.
But but their country was so far in debt due to a war.
Who cares?
A civil war. It wasn't like a war with someone else.
Who cares?
It was a civil war.
Who cares? But now
it was them fighting them until they both collapsed.
Who cares? Now you put the country in more debt.
What? In debt to who?
I know.
In debt to their people?
Yes.
There's no way. They're all dead. They're all dead. And the ones that weren't, there was no one to be indebted to. They needed to use U.S. currency. They needed to survive.
No. Listen. You're missing the point. And this is the thing. This is how I know my brain works way different from everybody else's.
It does. Way
different. Okay, so you're thinking the Civil War as everybody in the country's dead. If everybody in the country,
no, everyone in the country's dead. I just mean it put it in ruin.
If the country's in ruin,
mm-hmm.
that means you have level land. You have a blank canvas. Think about you as freaking Picasso with a blank freaking canvas in front of you.
What? I just don't understand how you would. What? Okay. What did we talk about earlier? Your currency needs to be backed by something of value, right?
Yes.
Whatever you decide that value is what it is. There was already better options than starting their own currency, like Bitcoin, out there. So that's what they use.
You want to start your own currency. You always want to be able to depend on yourself.
There are countries that are so small that they cannot depend on just themselves.
You can depend on yourself.
Actually, our country isn't that small. It's actually giant, and we can't depend on ourselves.
Actually, the United States can depend on itself.
But we don't.
Because they're lazy and they don't want to.
And if we did, it would also cause a lot of issues. There's a reason we outsource a lot of stuff to China. Have you ever seen their air quality? One thing?
There's a difference between depending on yourself and depending on yourself financially.
Okay, yeah. So you're saying you want them to be able to depend on themselves financially, not exactly the means of sourcing everything from their own country.
Yes.
Yeah, but when you're in ruin and you have no money, you have to source everything from your country, or you have to put yourself in debt with other countries.
Yes, but that's to get started.
And to get started, that's what they did.
No, they didn't.
They put themselves in debt to the U.S., and then they started to come back with Bitcoin because Bitcoin appreciated, as you saw. And they got in early.
I understand all of this, but if you think about it, all right, yeah, now they can probably sell all the Bitcoins they have and jump out and call it a day. They locked out because of the inflation.
Because of the appreciation.
Because of the inflation.
Okay.
Now, let me get out that topic because you're not going to see that point anyways.
Okay.
So let me get back to the gold standard.
Gold standard.
Now, if you take the gold standard, right, and you take any money that's backed by the gold standard, right, you take the money, you go say here in the U.S. from Russia, the United States won't take the money, right? You asked me this question. They don't take your money, then what? Take the money back to Russia, you get the freaking gold instead.
Yeah. You exchange it for something else.
Yeah, so you take that gold, come back to the US, and I guarantee you somebody will take that gold from you.
And you're saying that that's not the same with Bitcoin?
That's exactly not the same with Bitcoin.
But I can transfer into any currency I want right now. Or just about.
And that's where it all comes to a halt. Because, and you keep saying it, and I keep pointing this out for you, but you don't want to see it. It still depends on a
other currencies.
Small group of people.
It's a big group of people now.
Yeah. For how long? That's another question. And
that's what I mean is speculation. You're right. It depends on a group of people.
And for how long?
And I'm saying a long time, and it's going to keep growing into a larger group of people, making it a more viable currency. And your argument is that it is not going to grow. It's going to shrink. It's going to devalue, and it's eventually going to be nothing. I think either can be correct. I'm not saying you're wrong at all. I'm saying my theory is on the upswing of it, and your theory is on the downswing of it.
Yes.
So neither of us are right until 20, 30, 40 years from now, when we draw this thing back up, and either I'm living in his house because I'm poor as poor, because I put all my money in Bitcoin, and he's able to support me because he didn't get rug pulled, or you'll be living in my mansion that I bought with Bitcoin, which I didn't invest in Bitcoin.
And here,
just to put it out there,
right? And here's the other problem with Bitcoin. The whole splitting thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
You talk about them splitting Bitcoin because it can split,
and that can inflate it,
and that's where the inflation truly comes in.
So it could be split a lot, not infinitely, but a lot.
Yeah. So which makes it even more inflationary than it already is now. Yes.
It's hard because that contributes to it, but the scarcity of it it's much harder than our money. So whatever amount of faith you don't have in it being scarce is laughable considering you believe in the US dollar more. And I know you know the US dollar is backed by the US economy, but the scarcity of the US dollar is nothing. We can print that. I bet you they're printing it right now. So maybe you can't divide a dollar further than a penny.
Yeah, but
But you can print as many of those dollar bills as you want.
Okay. Let's talk about a country's money that's backed by gold then.
Yeah. Same deal.
It's not, because then
if you're on the gold standard, you're right. But there are fewer and fewer, if any, countries that are backed by the gold standard.
There are countries that are backed by. I just said China, Russia.
I said few, and a lot of people. What do they say about China? That they own us, right? Because their money's harder, because it's more backed by the gold standard. I'm not saying the gold standard's bad. I just think that Bitcoin has the potential to be a harder money.
Potential and is two different things, you know.
Well, right now it's definitely harder than the U.S. dollar.
It's not. The U.S. dollar is screwed.
Because if we go back 10 years ago, when that country was in ruin, and if I put in one paycheck into that Bitcoin, what it'd be looking like now?
Right.
Is way different.
Right. And this is where the inflationary part comes in. This is where that's why I brought this graph up. All right.
Because the dollar inflated a lot higher than the.
If you look at the graph, right, I want to show people this thing. Look at this graph. From 2000, there was no interest in Bitcoin beyond May 2016. Zero interest, right?
Little interest.
Zero interest. That's $400.
Little interest.
There's no interest there.
$400 is a lot for a coin.
Zero interest. That's how much it costs. That's how much it costs just for one of the damn parts to mine one Bitcoin.
Yeah, but that's still a lot.
That's nothing. Now, listen up. Look what it is today. Compared to what it is today, seriously, that's nothing.
Well, yeah, compared to what it is today.
Precisely. That's the thing. Now think about this logically. In the space of 2016, that's 10 years. dude, Bitcoin went up that much in 10 years. What do you know health inflates that fast?
Yeah, but you keep saying,
And it's been that good.
You keep saying
and it's
inflate,
been good news.
but-
It is inflation.
but why is it becoming more? Why is it becoming more appreciated? Why is it inflating more? It's because it's being used by more people. It's being wanted by more people. It's becoming more valuable. $100,000 is how much one of them is worth.
Okay, fine. You keep saying it wanted by more people. Okay, fine. 2020. That's 4 years ago.
Mhm.
There was still no interest in Bitcoin.
Yeah. It's becoming a more worldwide currency. It's continuing to grow.
You're really gonna stick to that story?
I think that's where it's headed. That's my opinion. You might be exactly right, but we won't know until we know. And as of right now, I'd be a very rich man if I had a lot of Bitcoin.
Hold on. And I'm gonna say this again. And if you gonna stick to that story, I can't. There's no help for you. No,
It's just my opinion.
Even if it's your opinion, there's still no help for you. Now listen. Why every rich person, the same person who's not promoting Bitcoin, Donald Trump, Warren Buffett, J.P. Morgan, all those people, those financial gurus, right? And there's many more who all said Bitcoin was a scam. Cryptocurrencies were scams. Now they all out of the blue, out of the goodness out of my heart, they come all out of the blue, suddenly think cryptocurrency is all of a sudden a good thing.
I have a really easy answer for that. Something like Bitcoin that is decentralized and is very, very difficult to affect by said Trumps of the world and rich gurus. They can't affect it the way that they can affect cryptocurrencies that they create. So now that they have a chance to create their own cryptocurrency and get it on the ground floor, why wouldn't they say it's something good? They couldn't control the one before, so they're going to make a new one. They're going to try to oust Bitcoin, and
I'm talking about they're buying up Bitcoins.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. They think it's a harder money. Those gurus think it's a harder money. The people who thought it wasn't going to be anything in 2020 is seeing it start to catch, and that's why they think it's going to be harder money. But they are preparing to create their own currency that their governments run on, that they can affect and change.
There's no hope for you.
I'm just saying. We should do a competition.
Did you know they're trying to pass a law?
We should take $100.
Do you know they're trying to pass a law
Yeah. What?
to dump or make the United States government
Dump crazy money into what? Bitcoin?
into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies?
They could try.
You know how they're going to do it?
Hmm.
They're going to let them buy up these coins, right?
Yeah.
Buy up these coins and buy up these.
They're going to try to hold them.
And hold them. Do you know what that means?
They're going to try to shut down the currency or
No.
own a good lot of it.
No. It's a simple plan.
That's how you control the currency.
It's not. They're not trying to control it. Up to 2 weeks ago, the United States had a law banning all cryptocurrency from entering the United States Treasury or financial systems.
Okay.
As up to 2 days ago,
Oh, do you think they're going to try to wash their money?
What else can they? What else could it possibly be than they try to wash money?
I just think they think it's a harder currency right now. And if you remember, have you ever learned about World War II, where before Hitler came along, the German dollar was so useless that they were like flowing all over the streets and people were picking them up in barrels. They were worth nothing. Then he came in and introduced a brand new currency that helped re-stabilize the country. I think in an effort to avoid something like that, they want to invest a lot of money into money that they feel is harder. And if something like Bitcoin is going to be a worldwide currency that isn't controlled by a specific government, as an attempt to control a large part of that wealth and to not go under themselves, they would buy up a big chunk of that and they would try to occupy that space so that if, let's say, the entire world decides Bitcoin is now more valuable than any other currency in the world, if anything, that should be an indicator to that maybe it is something that's going to stick around more if entire governments are trying to get their hands on it. You think it's going to be a rug pull situation.
It's not entire government. It's just one.
Well, we just talked about another government that has an entire their whole country takes Bitcoin. So it's more than one.
They didn't have a choice.
They did have a choice. They chose Bitcoin early, and it was smart. And probably when this whole thing flips around, they're gonna be sitting pretty.
They didn't have a choice because they didn't know any better.
Civil War, okay, but I think it was a good choice, right? I mean, right now, wouldn't you say it's a good choice?
It's a good choice, yes. It worked out for them.
But you're saying in the future it's gonna be a bad choice.
I'm talking right now. It's a bad choice.
Okay, well, you're saying the implications for the choice we're making now in the future is gonna be bad.
It's horrible. Period.
I think it's good. We're just sitting on two different ends. We just have two different
No,
opinions.
it's fine. You can sit on your end all you want to.
I'm not saying you're wrong. You may be very well right. You may be exactly right, and that's gonna suck.
Did you listen to the article I sent you about the one of the financial people I sent you? Really smart dude, was one of the top analysts, and he said that if
I was
the
sitting
United
with
States,
you watching that one.
yeah, if the United States government ever buy into cryptocurrency, anyone, doesn't matter which one, even if it's Bitcoin,
Yeah.
they will be holding on debt for the next 40 years
Yeah.
before they even get rid of those debts.
I believe that.
And that's one of the reasons why it would be disastrous.
Well, I mean, also you're coming in.
I guess there's one.
You're coming in when the cryptocurrency is at an all-time high. I mean, when you get into anything when it's at an all-time high, you got one of two things. It's either going to continue to go up, and a Bitcoin's going to be worth 200,000 in the next 10 years, which I don't know if that's going to be true. Or you're buying into something at such a high rate that when it comes back down, you're fucked.
And you still don't see that if they post Bitcoin at that high a rate, it's not inflationary.
I think it's more of a problem of the U.S. dollar. I think it's not our issue.
But it's not just the U.S. that has that price. That price tag is worldwide.
Well, yeah. So my point is that it's a harder money, meaning now it's going to be harder to attain it than it was before. But had you tried to get it before, you'd be set. And I don't think that's an issue of Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's doing well. I think it's an issue of our dollar being less and less valuable. That's all. It's the same thing. We're just looking at it through two different lenses. That's all.
It's not the same thing, dude. Not even close.
You're saying that Bitcoin's getting too expensive.
You're living in a universe over make-believe over there somewhere, and I'm living in reality universe over here.
Yeah, but in reality, if I would have invested in Bitcoin 10 years ago, I'd be very upset.
Because if you're
What if right now I invest in Bitcoin? I put we should put $100. You put $100 in the bank in a savings account, and I'll put $100 into cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. And what if Bitcoin doubles from this? What if Bitcoin doubles in price? I'd say it's a pretty good investment, though, right?
It's still a scam. Doesn't matter if it's an investment. Anything can be an investment. I can buy a brand new car, keep it for 10 years, 20 years, worth probably twice as much as I paid for it.
Maybe.
Scam.
That might be true, but an issue is the U.S. economy. The U.S. economy makes it harder for things to appreciate.
Look at cars people buy 100 years ago.
Okay, so what I mean by even the savings account, what's your savings account? When you put money in a savings account, it's just the bank diversifying that fund, making money off of it because they're holding your money for you.
Mm-hmm.
They're making money off of it themselves as a bank, and you get a small cut of that. That's how your savings. That's how your savings works, right? Mm-hmm. I'm saying within our economy is so bad right now, and I don't think it's going to get much better anytime soon.
Right.
That I would rather put my money in a world economy because I have more faith in the decentralization and the ethics of Bitcoin than I do.
You are not
the U.S. economy.
You are not. If you put your money into Bitcoin, you're technically not putting your money into Bitcoin.
What are you putting into?
What you're looking at is the stock market.
I'm not looking. I'm talking about Bitcoin as a currency. I'm talking about having one coin, not $100,000 worth of one coin.
But that's what you saw is the stock market.
Yeah.
You to own one Bitcoin, you'd have to find somebody who own a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
and actually buy that coin from them.
Or a piece of it, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
To get that, you're going to pay whatever the stock market price is. Even
Yeah.
though that person did not pay that much money to attain that coin.
Or he can exchange it for a good.
Okay, whatever did you want, but he's still going to go what the stock market says.
Yeah.
Which is, again, the inflationary part of the thing I'm talking about.
Yeah, but isn't that a bigger implication of the U.S. government and economy than
The
it
stock
is the
market
Bitcoin?
the stock market is not United States driven. It's world driven.
Okay, it's central to the United States.
It's not central to the United States, and this is where you're missing the mark.
Okay.
Anybody can invest in the stock market. You can be anywhere in the world and invest in the stock market.
Okay.
You didn't know that.
I know that. I'm saying it's
So
central to the U.S.
It's not central to anywhere.
We are the number one power.
Why is it central to somewhere if you can get into it from anywhere? How is that central?
How many of the Fortune 500 companies reside in the U.S.?
The stock market. When you get on the stock market, let me break it down to the simplest form you can get. When a company get onto the stock market, has nothing to do with the other 5 million that's on there.
Well, no, I'm not. I'm saying the biggest ones, the ones that can sway, weight, move, change within the entirety of the stock
But
market.
that still has nothing to do with your singular company.
Could it have something to do with the country?
Has nothing to do with your country either. No, it
that
doesn't.
company resides in?
No, it has absolutely nothing. The only thing the stock market.
So if U.S. takes a hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't think the stock market's going to take a hit?
No. Here's why the stock market don't take a hit. Because if this country, and here why. Perfect example. Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right now, the United States is taking a hit. See Bitcoin dropping?
No.
That's on the stock market.
It's going up. It's going up because the U.S. is taking a hit. Yeah, but that's
what I'm talking about. The stock market has nothing to do with the country.
that's not true.
If a country goes to war,
Mm-hmm.
you notice
Sometimes
how
it goes
war
up.
stock goes up?
Yeah.
Because it has absolutely nothing to do with the country.
But it does have to do with the country. Because they're going to war, it's going up. That's a part of a country. That is a decision a country makes that affects the stock market.
When I mean country goes to war, I mean not the country like the United States goes to war.
I mean any country.
Put it like, if Ukraine goes to war, Ukraine and Russia went to war. Do you see the war stock went up?
Certain
and
companies
things went down?
Yeah. Certain
Precisely.
things would go up.
But the United States didn't go to war.
Yeah, but that's if it did. It's not.
But that's what I'm talking about. The stock market has absolutely nothing to do with the country it's in. Or who's investing or whatever.
No, I'm not saying it has the stock market itself. I'm saying companies within that country, depending on what the country's doing, will have implications on the stock market and the companies that you're in. It's the thing.
Right. But if Bitcoin is a world thing,
Yeah.
then what the hell does it matter?
It doesn't. That's the point. That's why I believe in it. It's not the.
So my point is
The cryptocurrency is good because it's not going to be as swayed as something like war. It has less risk
that's my
being devalued.
And that brings you right back to my point before of why the damn thing is so damn inflated.
But you're
if
saying
nothing is supposed to affect it,
mm-hmm.
nothing. Whether the countries are at war, whether the countries at peace, whether the countries doing this, whether that's happening, it's just the people
mm-hmm.
who own these coins, trading, buying, selling, whatever the fuck it is.
So why do you think it would go backwards? Is what I'm asking. So if everyone who owns the coin right now has it, and it's continuing to appreciate, and people are utilizing it and holding it, why as a community would it go backwards?
Because I think the people who own the coin,
mm-hmm.
majority of the coin, because that's the thing now. The coins are no longer. This is the part that most people, and especially I think yourself too, fail to understand. The majority of people who own these coins now are no longer the people who mine them.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I'm sure it could be.
So
Makes
the people
sense.
who own these coins now are the same freaking elites who are now running the freaking Wall Street.
Yeah.
The fat cats. The same ones who influence the stocks.
Yeah, but how would they be able to influence the Bitcoin?
The same way they've been doing for years. Find more people to pretend like it's accepted more places.
Yeah.
And they just have to pretend. It doesn't have to be
Raise
accepted.
the price, sell it when it's
Jack
high.
up the prices, advertise it more, push it in every news media, get people to pretend like it's high and going up, just like the Trump coin, just like every other Bitcoin. Make it seem like it's better than it actually is. Give it a future. Pretend like it's going to have a future. Jack the price to the freaking roof. Get the United States government to dump, or any government, really, the one with the most money.
Dump their money, sell it, get their money back.
And bounce, and then leave the country with all that debt.
Yeah, I think that's a possibility.
4 years, dude. 4 years. The stock didn't gradually climb like a Bitcoin is supposed to. If it's natural interest,
Jumped.
if it's natural interest from me, you, the guy down the street, the shop owners, the bartenders, the people that you tell me is supposed to be interested in this coin, McDonald's would accept it. You could have went to the grocery store and used it. You could have went to the hospital and used it. You could have walked in any store,
I think it'll get
pop
there.
out your phone
Yeah.
and just pop it and use it.
I think it'll get
But
there.
that's not a possibility, and it has never been a possibility.
You don't think it's going to be a possibility when the government starts
No.
pumping money into
And
it?
here's why I keep telling you this. Digital currencies are becoming a thing already.
Yeah.
And those currencies are backed by gold.
And you're saying that we are going to accept those digital currencies and never allow cryptocurrency in.
Those same fat cats are going to accept those currencies before they accept your Bitcoin.
I think it's a super realistic like possibility. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Because think about it. If they're buying up all these coins, right?
Yeah.
And they're planning on dumping these freaking stocks
They could totally
into
do
some
that.
company.
Yeah.
Why would they ever accept it?
Yeah.
Because they know it's a risk.
Listen, I'm not saying that that's 100% a possibility. I'm not saying you're wrong at all.
And think about
I
it.
just think it's going to go the other way. I just think it's going to go the other way.
And also think about it. If you want to use Bitcoin
Do you
to
not
pay,
think it's a possibility that
no,
it could
it's
go the other way?
not even
Not even a little.
not on your life. Now think about this. If I want Bitcoins, right? If
Yeah.
I wanted to collect Bitcoins, what's the quickest way to collect Bitcoins?
The quickest way to buy them.
No. Well, that's one of the quickest ways. You're
That's
right.
the- that
Right?
is the
That's one of the
quickest
quickest ways. To buy them, or
Mhm.
for people who don't want to sell them, what do you do?
People who don't want to sell them,
Mhm.
how would you obtain them?
Yes.
I don't know. If the people don't want to sell
Trade
them,
them
you
for
can't-
goods.
Yeah, or you can mine them, I guess, but
You can't mine them because it'll take freaking forever.
it will take forever.
So if
It's
you're not,
random.
so if you're not going to mine them, you're not going to buy them.
Mhm.
You obtain them by trading them for goods.
Yeah.
So what do? Well, trade it here for your goods. I obtained the Bitcoin
Yeah.
because that's what I want. I want the coins.
But if it gets rug pulled, then you're left with nothing for what the goods you gave.
But I'm only going to do it for a short period of time. I know when this
Yeah,
window is.
you'd make money. You'd make good money.
If I know
So
what
you're
the
saying
window,
even if they start accepting it, that it's gonna eventually crash.
because they only doing it for a short period of time.
I guess what I'm saying is it's gonna be hard. I'm not saying that's not possible. I just think it's gonna be really difficult for them to do that. It's gonna be really
Why
hard.
is it difficult?
Because it's more than just these fat cats, and if they're getting into it at this point, the amount of money they're gonna have to spend to do something like that would be such a huge risk.
Money laundering.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure there's money laundering involved. I'm saying even with money laundering, the amount of money you'd have to spend to do that would be difficult
Why?
because of how expensive it is.
If
now.
you're planning to get, all right, perfect example, a drug dealer. I need to bring $10 million into fucking to United States as legal tender. What's the quickest way to do that?
Definitely Bitcoin.
You buy a shit ton of Bitcoin.
There was like a whole revolution where people were. There's actually a really good movie about it. It's called. We should watch it. It's called Dope, and it's a real thing. The movie's obviously fake, but there was a big black web thing where they used cryptocurrency to buy all manner of bad things, including drugs.
Mm-hmm.
It was drugs. It was all kinds of stuff, but it was free. It was free trade. They
Yeah.
used the Bitcoin to do so.
And they're doing it now still too. But
I'm sure they are.
But the quickest way to do this is to team up with someone who's willing to dump all your dirty money
into crypto and
into
that's a
crypto
good way to
and then clean it.
Yeah. I think that's possible for sure. But I just think
But
it's going to be
first,
difficult.
but the thing is, first you have to jack up the price.
Make it worth it. Make it less noticeable, maybe. I just think it's going to be difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible, and I totally see your point. I think that's a very, very, very possible thing. But I just believe I believe that the people will end up on the right end of that. I think it may be able to be swayed by that for sure.
It's good to be hopeful, but sometimes better to be realistic.
Listen, I don't have any money invested in that, all right? So, we're sticking with the U.S. dollar because that's all we got. But I think it might go the other way. It might. But you're 100% right in the fact that it could go that direction because that makes a lot of sense.
And real fast too.
It makes a lot of sense, yeah.
Right.
We'll see. Listen, Trump's got 4 years, right? We'll see
Yeah.
until he changes the term limit. All right.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
They're trying to work on that. Yeah.
We'll see.
So we'll see what happens there. My goodness, these damn people.
We'll check back in 4 years.
All right. Peace.